everybody. This is Charlotte Bergmann. I have missed you guys. I have been on the campaign trail. Well, now I am back, and I would like to discuss with you all some very interesting things. I have a special guest that is scheduled to join me. Hi, Cindy. Thank you for inviting me back. I am happy to be back. It has been a long 98 days. Well, at that time, the time of the election, 98 days, but I am back. And what we're going to discuss with you guys today, it's something that, Noni, my gosh, you guys, I do appreciate you all. I appreciate your support. I appreciate all that you guys have done for me during this election process. It has been really trying, but guess what, guys? It's been good, and it is good to be back. I have a special guest that is scheduled to join me today. He is late, but he's a former celebrity, so he is accustomed to being late, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and get this show started. As you probably noticed, this show is about what has been happening in the General Assembly of Tennessee. There are some very, very interesting things, and you're probably wondering, well, why am I discussing this? My phone is ringing. Why am I discussing this? Well, it's very important that we understand what is happening in our state. And I have our special guest with me today. He is hiding. We see you, Judge. How are you?
How you doing? Oh,
Well,
wow.
there you go with that camera. Let me see if I can get us parallel. Okay. Judge will be back in a second. He lost his camera for a second. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started without the judge. While we're waiting for the judge to start with us again, as soon as he gets back, we'll bring him on. I'd like to show you guys this short little video. And you will probably find it very interesting, as I did. It is a video discussing some of the updates that occurred in the General Assembly at the House level a couple of days ago.
An update tonight on a state bill that would make it illegal to display anything other than the state and U.S. flags at our public schools. The unspoken target is the pride flag you see back here, associated with the LGBTQ community. Now, the journey from bill to law is just getting started, but the battle lines are clearly drawn. As the law stands, every school in the state is required to display Old Glory, the Stars and Stripes. But State Representative Gino Bulso is sponsoring an amendment that says only the U.S. and Tennessee flags will be permitted at schools, period.
Parents have a right to raise their kids with the values that they want to raise them with. And this bill has its origin in parents not being comfortable with the values represented by these flags.
The pride flag is the target. It's associated with the gay, lesbian, and transgender lifestyle. This bill is popular with the GOP, which controls the Tennessee legislature, but people with opposing views are pushing back.
When I walk into a classroom and see a pride flag, it tells me one thing. Not that the teacher has a nefarious gay agenda, but that LGBT students are safe and welcome in this classroom.
But as with many issues, this one isn't black and white.
If someone wanted to display, say, the Confederate flag in the classroom, are we open to that also?
The bill's House and Senate sponsors believe a clear line needs to be drawn. Their critics say it's already there.
So how are we as parents who want to protect our children supposed to accept that lawmakers feel more threatened by a piece of fabric than an automatic rifle?
Now, if you'd like to follow this measure, it's House Bill 1605. After a somewhat contentious debate this week, a vote was put off in the House K through 12 subcommittee, but it will almost certainly be back, and we will keep you posted.
All right, guys, you all saw that.
I have sat on this bench
Right,
for over
you
3
guys
decades.
do. Okay.
I've looked into
I
the
do
eyes of
accept
hardened
this
criminals,
judge.
desperate
This is
mothers, and
not the
kids who just
judge
made a
that
stupid
I'm-
mistake. I thought I understood.
This is not the judge that I am waiting on. The judge that I'm waiting on is Judge Joe Brown. And this is really, really good. This is the first show I've had in quite some time. So I think we have the judge back. So let's see if we can bring him on board.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4.
There you are, Judge. My
Okay.
dependable judge. You know, just before you came on, Judge Judy tried to steal some time, but we made sure that she wasn't there. Thank you for joining me, Judge. Appreciate it.
Oh, Judge Judy.
Judge Judy. I don't know how she got on the air, but when you go
Well,
back,
somebody probably tried to sneak her in. We were in the same section for CBS along with Dr. Phil and Oprah. That was managed by a guy named Roger King, whose dad invented TV syndication. It was an interesting situation. They didn't like it that I was where I was in the rankings, so they tried to hide it. But anyway, the topic at hand, what's going on up there? Let's just say that the proponents for the bill that seems to have met a dead end in the Senate have a point they didn't even make. You have a United States warship. What flag is on it?
the American flag.
You
The US flag.
see, yeah, you see troops going into battle. What flag did they used to carry before they had to get into camouflage? American flag.
American
You
flag.
see an American warplane, and it's got a stylized signature that is the American insignia on its wings and fuselage. All right. And where in the hell did the rainbow flag become representative of anything that is officially the United States of America?
Judge, let me interject something. First, I want to start with your background. Judge Joe Brown barbecue sauce. You guys got to try it. I had a chance to try some, and it is delicious. Now, in terms of what you're saying about the LGBTQ flag, I said it correctly for a change. What I'm concerned about mostly, Judge, you missed the video that I showed.
Oh, I saw. I could see it. I saw it.
Then
Yeah.
there was a former opponent of mine, Todd Warner, who was sitting there. He's a good man. This man supports our values, supports Christian values. He does not support the LGBTQ values. So what
Well,
happened?
it's not even that.
What,
It's more fundamental. Who
let
the
me finish.
hell
He's in the
passed?
house.
Yeah, but who the hell passed any resolution in the state house or the state senate or in the Congress of the United States of America saying the rainbow flag represents the people of the United States or the people of the state of Tennessee? Who did this?
Then we need to look at the state senate.
Well, no, nobody. The state senate has not passed a bill that says in the state of Tennessee, the rainbow flag is now taken to supplement the state flag for Tennessee to represent the people in this state. Who decides that this flag is going to rest under the American flag on the flagpole outside of a public institution?
Judge, what actually happened, let me finish. The state house decided from the appeals from the parents in the
Ma'am, you're missing a point. It's
No,
not who
we're not-
decided they were going to take it down. Who the hell decided to put it up in the first place, and what authority
You and
did
I,
they have?
Judge, you and I both know that.
I know, but no, I'm saying this is fundamental. See, this is how they operate. They get us focusing on sub issues without getting on the primary issue. Do you think a captain of a naval warship can decide he's going to put another flag up on the back of that ship other than the United States flag? Do you think somebody that's in the Air Force can decide that he's going to cross through the American insignia and put up somebody else's or something else's insignia to represent the country that aircraft belongs to? Who decided for the people of the state of Tennessee that somebody's going to put that rainbow flag up? Answer: nobody. There was no plebiscite, no referendum, no constitutional amendment.
There was
to
not.
this.
There
So,
was
how
there,
did it get up there?
there was not. There's this idea that if the Supreme Court stated that marriage was between multiple men or multiple women or whomever, then other things can be brought into play
Okay,
without anybody questioning it.
okay, fine. But the First Amendment guarantees that if you're a Christian, you can practice your Christianity. If you're a Muslim, you can practice Islam. If you're Jewish, you can practice the Hebraic religion. If you are Hindu, you can practice what's represented by six-armed Shiva. If you're Buddhist, you can be a Buddhist. But where does anybody get off trying to post a flag representing one of those religions on a flagpole right under the United States flag?
Judge, I love you.
Nobody. You
I
can't do it. So
but
who
but
gets off
Judge,
saying we're going to put the
they
rainbow?
they felt like they needed to bring this before the House, and it was voted. It was voted and passed in the House. Now it has to go to the Senate, and I want to
Well,
show you.
time out. See, this is the problem. That flag is up there for no legal, justifiable reasons. Nobody with authority decided they were going to supplement the position of the American flag and the Tennessee flag and replace the Tennessee flag with a rainbow flag on the flagpoles of public schools that the people of the state of Tennessee have. This doesn't even require an act of the legislature to take it down, because the executive, who has jurisdiction over the enforcement of the laws, could simply issue an executive order or an instruction, take it down.
So
So
is that, so do are you saying that that's the reason that the state Senate has not voted on this issue?
that if they don't understand it, they're too ignorant, they're too stupid, they're too ill versed in what the law is that they are sworn to uphold. See, the law that is stated is in a little pamphlet that literally, I'll show you one. Most of this pamphlet contains little
Ooh, that
expositions.
looks familiar.
Yeah, little expositions on how the Constitution got to be, and the Bill of Rights, and some explanations. But in this little pamphlet, the entirety of the U.S. Constitution isn't quite 15 pages. And it is about 1/10 the length of what you're supposed to read and study and be tested on to get a driver's license in the state of Tennessee. So the fact that our state legislators are so absolutely ignorant of what's in here that they swore to uphold is not surprising, considering the state of affairs these days. So the point is not whether we're going to say, let's decide whether to take it down. The first issue is, who decided to put it up and what authority did they have? Can some Christians go in there and say, we are Southern Baptist or we are Episcopalians, so we decide we're going to put up a cross under the American flag on the school where our children go? It's not a private school, it's a public school, but we're going to put up a Christian cross. Or in another neighborhood, you might say, we're going to put up a crescent under there and a little star, or a six-pointed Hebrew star. Who gives anybody the authority to do that? Answer: none. You can't do it. So let's back up with the reality and stop talking about who did what about not taking it down. The real question is who the devil put it up and what authority do they claim to put it up? Okay, let's say the Supreme Court says, as it has many times, you can practice your religion as long as it doesn't hurt somebody, et cetera, et cetera. But just because they said your religion is authorized for your personal use, you can't come in and say, we're going to put it up under the American flag and take the state flag down to replace it with that. You can't do it. So nobody gave anyone the authority to decide that this public property is going to advertise a particular theology, which is
Okay,
what the problem is. And that's where we need to answer ask the question, who
you
the
and I,
devil put it up and
you,
what are you doing about enforcing the law?
you and I both know. And apparently, the General Assembly has decided that apparently they needed to take action on this. So they passed the bill. They passed the bill during the last session. The state Senate did not take it up to make it into law, to say you can't fly that LGBTQ flag in the classroom to indoctrinate our children. The state Senate is, they're not doing their job. But let me just say this, Judge. No matter what people say about COVID, we would not have known what was happening in the schools and how these issues were used to indoctrinate our children. And so I'm glad that the parents are aware of this. And probably because of that, and because some parents probably went to the classroom and saw that flag being raised and exposed, they probably took it upon themselves to go and talk to someone in the house, in the state house, in order to do something about it. But my issue, and I want to bring this to your attention, my issue is the House has passed the bill a couple of times, Judge. But the problem is, why is the Senate not doing anything? Is it because they want that flag to continue to
Yeah,
be flown in the
probably,
classroom?
probably.
Then who do we have that is responsible for making sure that the parents' desires and their wants are to
Okay.
be taken into
Okay, well,
consideration?
let's back up a little bit more. Do you know when Tennessee passed its first criminal code?
No, tell me, Judge.
1988. We didn't have a criminal code for the 100+ years that Tennessee
We
was in
probably
existence.
didn't need it before then.
No, it was called common law. One of the most frequent cases I had to defend my clients against was assault and battery. Assault and battery had no code section defining it. It was common law. The
Okay.
very first case the U.S. Supreme Court decided was right after the Bill of Rights was adopted or ratified in 1791. It is the very first case they heard. The question was, what is the common law? They said all law in the United States of America and in all of its states is the common law
Okay, Judge.
until superseded by statutory regulation, et cetera, et cetera. All
Okay, Judge.
right.
Okay,
Now, Tennessee used to be a province of North Carolina.
right.
It has been in existence. Andrew Jackson, Davy Crockett, and all these other folk came out of Tennessee. All right. Got a long history in America. There is a common law that is already in place in the state of Tennessee. The caveat to the first Supreme Court case says all law is common law until it is replaced by statutory regulation, law, or ordinance. The question becomes, what statutory law, rule, or ordinance did Tennessee ever pass mandating the posting of the flag? Answer, none.
Okay.
So under the first case, decided by the Supreme Court, that means that if there's no statutory law, then the common law applies. And the common law is the flag of the United States of America is at the top. The state flag is next. It does not authorize nor allow any little flag dealing with somebody's sexual perversion. Now, that being the case, that is in violation of the common law, and nobody needs to go anywhere right now. Law enforcement can start enforcing that. The governor can start enforcing that. The mayor can start enforcing that of the municipality. The county mayor can start enforcing the common law, which is you can't do it, so take it down. They don't need the Senate to go create a statutory law to supplement what's already out there, the common law. So that goes back to this question, which smart lawyers and smart judges understand what is, in fact, the operative law. The operative law is nothing that said you put this up. The common law that is in place that has not been superseded is that you can't. So why don't people enforce the common law?
Okay, so to answer Nani Cook's question, she asked, why did the Senate not pick it up? You're saying because the Senate did not feel that it was necessary.
No, too many of the senators do the 6-7B thing.
What's the 6-7B thing, Judge?
Unbuilt, drop britches, drop boxes, bend over, etc., etc., etc.
Oh, you
Too
didn't
many of
go
them
there.
practice that.
No, you
Too
didn't.
many practice that, and they're in the closet. It's 2026. Come on out the closet. Let us know where you stand. It's your business. You can get your freak on in your bedroom, but if you're trying to pass legislation that impacts the rest of it, then we need to know, and it's our business because it's our children there, and it's our tax dollars that pay for these institutions that are now it's back again, subject to advertising a particular persuasion of enjoying eroticism that the rest of us think is a little weird.
Okay, Judge, you said a mouthful there, and I agree with you 100%. We did have an opportunity to expose someone who actually was.
And they got all upset about it. But you see, here's what the
Oh,
problem
Judge,
is.
listen, the Republican Party told people to not speak to me just because I brought attention to that
That
issue.
doesn't mean the Republican
Judge,
Party doesn't have perverts either. Look at the log cabin Republicans.
but Judge, my question is, how can you get a divorce, which was a public document, without having been married in the first place?
Okay, no. See, they got mad because we exercised our First Amendment rights to talk about those things that impact government.
Thank
See,
you.
the use of tax dollars to put a flag that represents perversion up in public schools to propagandize our children, to spend our tax
Yes,
dollars
sir.
on such
That
institutionalized
affects all of us.
advocacy is our business. So
Exactly.
when they get to talking about this, they're being un-American and see they're trying to hide. See, look at it this way. Is there a flag that says, I'm straight, but I like it when my partner does it doggy style, or she likes to get on top doing reverse cowgirl on top? You know, is there any such flag that pushes that? No. But then why in the devil does somebody get to put up a flag advertising that they do, that other edition of uh, mutually assisted masturbatory activity to get some kind of erotic pleasure out of the whole thing? Because it's not really sex. It doesn't lead to reproduction, even theoretically. So, I mean, what is it? So why do they get to advertise on a flag that everybody knows what it represents, that they're trying to get the children to adopt what it
They're
represents?
trying to
And
get
you can't even
children.
teach the other one. See, you can't have sex education in an elementary, junior high, or middle or high school these days, but you can have that where you just say, okay, you've got let's see, less than 0.5% of the country's population, and it's lower in Tennessee, are tranny. Less than 1% are lesbian, and less than 1.5% are male gay. And you got about 4.5% who go both ways. So that totals up 6.5% of the country. Where did they, without any constitutional authorization, without any legislative override of the common law, get to decide that you're going to put this flag up where in Tennessee the percentages are about 4.5%? When did the other 95.5% of the state's population get overridden so that tax dollars get put up without any legislative authorization? See, if you're going to say, we want to pass legislation to take it down, where is the legislation that said you can put it up? The
Exactly.
answer is there is none.
It
So
isn't.
that flag is up there in an illegal fashion. And by the way, there is United States federal legislation that says the only thing authorized to be flown below the American flag on
POW.
any is the state flag or a military flag, or when there is a visiting sovereign entity upon diplomatic recognition and honor of the visitor. And that's it. So we had these characters without authorization, in violation of the clear American statutes in the last administration, putting up these flags all around the world at consulates and embassies and insulting a lot of the host nations for whom those practices are very much forbidden. There was no authorization for that. It was an executive order from the Biden-Harris administration, and before that, the Obama administration, as chief diplomatic officers, the president simply ordered that. The current one has said, take it down. There is no legislative authorization, and on the U.S. level, it's forbidden. But on the state level, there was nothing that authorized this. Somebody decided somewhere on some board of education, maybe, or some school teachers who shouldn't be allowed to proselytize our children decided they were going to put it up. There is no state law that says these things are supposed to be up there in the first place. So why doesn't somebody enforce the common law and take the damn things down? And then let's look at the state senate. Why are you sitting there protesting somebody
It is a
simply
protest.
following the existing law? You need to be exposed. See, it's your business. However, you want to get your freak on in the bedroom, that's your business. But when you start trying to impose it on the rest of us,
Exactly.
it's our business.
And the reason I brought this up is because there was a Washington Post article that said Democrat turnout for House primary is a major black Tennessee in a major majority black Tennessee county surged to the highest level in a decade, the latest sign that redistricting may be energizing black voters across the South. So,
May I comment on that very briefly?
let me finish, Judge.
Go ahead.
This was brought up. I joined the Republican Party because I thought the values were different from the Democrat Party. And a lot of parents are probably saying, well, why should I go out and vote for Republicans who share those same values? So therefore, this could contribute to low turnout. This is what I primarily wanted to talk about.
Okay, let's talk about reality. Too many young Americans died in 1990 and circa 2003 to about 2007 or 8, trying to get the Iraqis out of the clutch of Saddam Hussein and a totalitarian fascist government. The last election they had, which has not been a year ago, the turnout was almost 100% of the authorized voters in Iraq to vote. And the missing contingent with those who were sick or infirm or would be expected not to make it. Now, what they're talking about is this huge black surge is absolutely ridiculous because depending upon what stats you use, or even the ones that they're talking about, it's just about 20%, 1/5 of the registered voters. So if an election is so weak with so few viable things on there to excite the interest of the voter, that less than 1/5 or about 1/5 of the registered voters turn out. That's pretty pathetic. And
That
that they're
was
saying
pathetic,
it's
but
a
let me tell you
surge.
this. Let me tell you this, Judge. I went to an event on last Saturday, and that the people that were there were trying to get the audience fired up. How? By talking about black men, black women, racism, etc., etc. This is what it's going to cause people on the Democrat side to come out to vote. Whereas Republicans may look and say, well, if I'm going to vote for somebody, do I vote for somebody that shares Democrat values, or are they going to live up to Republican values? This can contribute to why the turnout will be low. And I believe that the turnout is going to be low.
Well, look at what we have in this city. Who the hell's holding an office in here that excites any attention? The mayors, they're low-level administrators who don't have a single idea in their soul that hasn't been fed to them by somebody that's paying them under the table. The city council, they're so ignorant about what they're supposed to be doing in the circumstances of this
But
city.
people
This is
are
an
going to look
embarrassment.
at that,
The
Judge.
county commission is ridiculous.
But the
So
people are going to
who's
look at that. People are going to look at that and they're going to say, yeah, that is bad.
yeah,
But
but wait a
I'm
minute.
more
No, wait,
concerned
wait, wait.
about racism than
Wait, wait,
anything else.
wait. I'm getting there. Hold on. Let's talk about this surge. The average turnout for the last 25 years of the black voters in Shelby County has hovered around 15%, which is embarrassing. So that it went up to 20% is still embarrassing because it's been slowly creeping up as people are being advised that the election machines are no longer so corrupt that you're wasting your time showing up. Now, that being said, the problem is that you were in probably one of the hottest races in the country because the Democratic Party knows that their little clown boy, Justin Pearson, is not going to win in the necessary 14 counties going up to Nashville, but they want to make a point of establishing that the Republican Party has problems, which the local yokel Republicans are falling into that trap by giving them good cause to go badmouth us with this clown Pearson that can't stay off the ground rolling around on it in the dirt long enough to give a coherent speech about something that actually can be done with the facilities and resources of West Tennessee. Now, that said, it's a clown show, and our mayor is a clown. The city mayor, the new county mayor is a clown. He doesn't know a damn thing. And what happened is, if anybody wants to know, just about all of the black elected officials that got in office this time are either in the Delta sorority or in the Kappa fraternity. So they put their fraternal organization, sorority organization to work for rising funds and getting poll workers and so forth. Smart move. But that's just a bunch of little boule Negroes out there that don't have any clue as to what to do for this city, which by every prognostication on an
What
economic
you're
level.
saying is extremely logical, rational, but it is going to be irrational thought.
Yeah, this
Gonna
ought to be
keep
the
out.
largest, most prosperous city in the United States of America for the 21st century.
Oh,
And it
and I'm
is,
a Kappa. I'm a Kappa too, Judge.
well, no, not that Kappa.
I know, but I'm a Kappa.
No, but you're not a member of the fraternity. The Deltas are the
I'm a member of Phi
sororities.
Theta Kappa fraternity.
Well, yeah, but you can't be. It's male only.
No, I am. I am.
You're talking about what?
Phi Theta Kappa fraternity. I'm a member of it.
How did you get to be a member of a male fraternity?
Because I
What
was smart. I was smart. It actually is the honor society of the college.
Well, okay, okay, yeah, but we're not talking about that Kappa, but Phi Beta Kappa. Okay, yeah, that means you're smart. That's an academic fraternity
Right.
slash. It embraces ladies too. I'm talking about the classic black frats and fraternities. There were only 8, 4 male, 4 female. This divine 9 is just bullshit. It just came in because the real purpose of these black frats and sororities was prior to World War I, they were faced with a massive infusion of Klan recruitment, white citizen council thing, night riders, and it was very dangerous being black in the former states of the Confederacy. So this was an undercover way of fighting segregation slash American apartheid. That's what it was all about. They masqueraded as a
Initially.
black Greek party organization,
Exactly.
social fraternity, when actually its business was to take care of some real serious business. And if you look at Dr. Martin Luther King, Thurgood Marshall, all Ralph Bunche, who was in the UN, you look at Jackie Robinson and all the rest of them, you find that they were all members of some fraternity or another. There were four of them so that you couldn't get everybody by getting one, and there were four sororities to back that up. And the pledging was designed to see if you would squeal or rat out your colleagues if Sheriff Bubba was torturing you. That's not the way it is now. It's a social organization. But Phi Beta Kappa is excellent. That's academic. But the Kappa fraternity is what provided the organization for the elected officials this time in a very weak turnout. It is the reason that the Deltas got involved in this, and the reason we have such an inept chief of police,
Well, also
Slow Down Davis, who
throw
should be
in,
taking the flags down to enforce the law, but she's probably too ignorant to know that.
it's okay.
And wait a
Throw
minute,
in the
she was a
pastor.
Delta,
Yeah.
and Strickland tried to get 3 terms in instead of the limited 2 by bringing some Deltas in, and she was a Delta, so he brings in somebody that was under suspicion of being part of a child pornography ring in Atlanta and Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina. So we have 400 plus paid for but unfulfilled police positions, a police department in complete chaos, plenty of young, enthusiastic young cops that know that they want to do something for the people, plenty of mid-level authorities in there that have in place in the command structure, and nobody at the damn top. And the mayor's supposed to be over that, and he doesn't know what the hell to do except waste
I'll
time
bring it. I'll
and
bring it back.
resources
I'll
bringing
bring it back.
6, 7 squad cars to bodyguard him when he goes to a restaurant.
I'll
It's a
bring it back.
disgrace.
I'll
Now,
bring it
back
back.
to this flagpole thing. Who is going to get out there and enforce the law as it actually stands right now? And when are we going to stop saying, you don't get away with trying to suppress the information that your sexual cookies are supposed to be influencing what the rest of us have to pay out in money, time, and risk to the souls and morality and the ethics of our children? Now, that's where it comes down to. Who do you think you are to hide this from the people of this state?
And as a result of that, that's an issue that people are going to take into consideration, and they will come out to vote for someone who actually uphold those principles and values that parents have in order to be able to raise their children in the right way. We don't have that right now, and the Republican Party's turnout may be low as a result of that. So people who are asking this question, well, why is it Republicans coming out to vote? Ask yourself, are there really true Republicans who share your values on the ballot? That's where we are. Judge, I'm going to end this conversation on that note. I'm going to bring you back on.
Good note.
I'm going to bring you back on because I want you to discuss that. But thank you, Judge. I know you have.
Okay. Let me explain why I got passionate about it this morning.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's assuming that there is a subject with which you have expertise and long experience. Let's say that you are a doctor, all right, and you have a huge number of patients that come to you with the same thing. Let's get real graphic about this. Let's suppose that you have a widespread increase in VD, and you keep talking to people who say, I caught it from a toilet seat. Well, the only way you can get VD from a toilet seat is if you were doing something else while sitting.
Judge, okay, guys, I want to thank Judge Joe Brown for joining us today. Judge is full of wisdom. And I'll tell you what, I want to thank you all for joining me today. Join me next week. I'll be back. I'm not sure exactly when I'll be back, but I'll certainly be back. And let's have a lively discussion. Thank you for joining me. This is Charlotte Bergmann with the new Charlotte Bergmann Show. Thank you all for joining me. Bye.